Good evening, everyone. Listen, guys, I genuinely don't know how long this is going to take, this live stream. This is going to be a long one. Something dark and weird is about to happen, and it's happening, and you guys can see this. So I'm going to just give you guys some wild stuff that's actually happening right now in the world. And let me know if you think this makes sense, because you've got to take a step back from all these crazy things that's happening in the world right now. And, I'm literally, oh, hang on a minute. So I'm literally looking at all these things now, and I'm just taking them one at a time. But if you take a step back and look at them like holistically, I'm just going to read you some headlines now, guys. I'll do the headlines and I'll come back and we'll talk about each one individually. I can't even believe I'm saying this, guys, all right? So I'm just going to read these headlines, all right? Melania Trump had the White House scrubbed for demons before she would move her and her family to Washington, D.C. That's a real headline. Mystery of what is under the West Wing hole. What is Obama building under the White House? Guys, I've just read you an article from 2011. So something was happening in the White House in America in 2011. I don't know. I don't know what this was. Trump administration has just helped secure the rescue of 10 missing children who were all found alive in Hawaii. Like, what? How did 10 missing children all get together and end up in Hawaii? And I'm assuming the same place. Like, these headlines are unbelievable, guys. They really are. I'm going to play you this little short video here, guys. I'm going to play you a short video. About a lady called La Diabla, the baby trafficker. So apparently I'll just play the video.
Example shares is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies.
Did you hear that, guys? Did you actually hear that? Did you guys hear what she said? This woman, I believe she's been arrested, La Diabla, her thing is she gets babies, she takes babies out of stomachs and harvests their organs. I'm like, what the actual fuck? This is not some sort of science fiction movie, guys. This is really being said on real TV. I think this girl's name who just spoke there, I think her name's Tulsi Gabbard. So, like, what? We have literally got, like, official notice now that people are harvesting children's organs. Now, the next logical question, and look, guys, if I know it's coming up to Halloween and you probably want to go to sleep, but the next logical question is, who is she harvesting those organs for, and what are they going to do with them? Like, if somebody came up to me and said, hey, Sean, I can't even say the words. If somebody came up to me and offered, like, what, I'd be like, no. And, I get cognitive dissonance with that sort of stuff. So we will be talking about that, guys. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. It doesn't stop there. Donald Trump has been, we'll come on to that at the end, actually. We've also got another story about these. They don't want. This is the headline. They don't want you to know how we are being fed trafficked children meat. Trafficked children meat. Now, this woman in this interview, she's saying that meat that goes to supermarkets could have human meat in it, like human meat. So, honestly, guys, I've been down a rabbit hole, and it was a dark rabbit hole, and I did not have a torch. I had no torch, guys. I was in a dark rabbit hole, and some of the stuff I've been looking at, and and just listening to is unbelievable. And it all started with this from InfoWars. So InfoWars posted today, unbelievable. Police bust massive baby factory. Yeah, you heard that. Baby factory operation while investigating a child abuse case. Human traffickers are now abusing surrogacy as a legal loophole to gain custody of infants, only to sell them to the highest bidder. What the guys? Look, like for me, I'm one of these people who thinks these things through. Like I think my brain. I think I'm not going to die, but I think when I do die, there'll be a lot of scientists wanting to take control of my brain because I think so quick. It actually annoys, it'll actually annoy Sarah when we're talking because I'll come up with the answer and I'll just give it real quick. And it annoys some people how quick I think. I'm like, bang, 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 bang. There it is. So my natural question when I heard all this stuff is, right, okay, nobody's focusing on the real story. And the real story is, where are these kids going? Like, when you sell a child, who's buying the children? That's what I want to know, guys. I mean, I've gone down a rabbit hole, but like in my head, I've gone way back, guys. I've gone way back to ancient Sumeria. I've gone to Incan human sacrifices because you know how they used to have to sacrifice virgins, yeah? Well, virgin is a code word for a child. You guys know that, right? You guys are down with the kids. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Some wild stuff's been happening, and something dark and weird is about to happen. So that's on one context, all right? Then you look at the United Kingdom. What's happening? Oh, just quickly. You know this thing that they're building in the United States, Donald Trump's new ballroom or whatever it is? I kind of didn't think about this, but can you guys remember? Were you guys on with me when I did a live stream? And I think we was on. I think it was on YouTube. And I got the screen up. And if you guys can do this yourself, go onto Google Maps. Go onto Google Maps and find the find the White House on Google Maps. It's in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue or something. The Americans will know. I think it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So find the White House and then mess about with zooming in and zooming out. And there's an aspect ratio you get, and there is a perfect pentagram with the streets. And at each edge of that, with the streets or with the roads, and at each edge, you've got a significant monument. And at the bottom, right at the bottom pinnacle, that's where the White House is. So I'm thinking now, what's really under the White House? What's this excavation really all about? And the first thing I spoke about there, how Melania Trump, good old Melania. Melania Trump went in and had the White House scrubbed for demons before she would move her family to DC. This is a real story, guys. So now you've got to think, and you can't just think, oh, that's his wife. She's Eastern European. She's probably from I don't know. I'm not going to say anything negative. But, they're probably just thinking, oh, that's how they roll in that culture. But you've got to understand, that's Donald Trump's wife. And if anybody thinks that husband and wife don't influence each other, you're deluded. Of course they influence each other. What, do you think they don't talk when they go to bed at night? Do you think they don't talk about stuff? Do you think Melina's not saying to Donald, hey, I'm not going to do Melina's accent. Where is she from? Is she Hungarian? I think she's Hungarian. Of course they're going to talk at night. This whole thing right now, guys, it's an absolute rabbit hole. Absolute rabbit hole, what's happening in the United States. Then you take a step back. We're looking at a global conflict of an industrial scale. So you've got all these different aspects, all these different literal dimensions. We've got the 3i Atlas on the way. I mean, we did a live stream on that earlier on, and I think we covered everything in that live stream earlier on. Guys, if you want to know about what we was talking about 3i Atlas, I did a live stream earlier on. I jumped on and did it because I knew that 3i Atlas wouldn't really fit into what I've got to talk about today. And then we've got to look at the United Kingdom. Guys, have you heard this story? Well, look, listen, if you're in the United Kingdom, you cannot not know about, what's his name? Hadush Cabana. Is that his name? Hadush Cabana? I can't pronounce his whole name, guys. Hadush Cabana is still on the run. that rabbit hole gets deeper. So there's an interview out. There's an interview. There was the delivery driver. So I don't know if you've seen the interview, guys. I'm just going to have a little orange. It's an easy peeler. So there's an interview that's been put out by. So there was a guy at the time that Hadush was getting let out. There was a guy doing a delivery. He was in a big truck, so he was trying to get in or something, and he needed to go into the entry exit point or the control room, whatever they call it. So he actually heard what was going on and he overheard these conversations. And poor Hadush, he's trying to get back in the prison. He's saying, I don't understand what's happening. Where should I go? What do I need to do? And the police and the prison officers just pointed him to the train station and say, off you go. So Hadush, he's got no idea what he's doing. He doesn't understand the system and he's off on the train now. I think the police, they may have already done it now, guys. I'm going to have a look on the breaking news. The police said they were going to release some more images of they were going to release some more images of Hadush. But that's where we're going to now, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it was going down a dark place. Right, I'm just trying to find this. No, there's been nothing released. Oh, hang on. On the run asylum seeker traveling around London by train and talking to strangers. Yeah, I thought they were going to release some more pictures of him today, but they must not have. Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys, and then I'm going to go through each one of those stories in themselves because it is absolutely wild. And all this information is going to come out, guys. I promise you, all this information will come out. I don't know what it is, but when somebody says something to you, naturally your brain. Well, I don't know about you, but naturally my brain will always evolve that to possible outcomes. So if somebody says, Sean, can you do this? I'll think of the possible outcomes, what I can do, the time I've got, when it's likely to be done, any problems in the way. I'll do that in like a couple of seconds. That's why I give you guys such detailed, granular analysis. Now, when I first started looking at these stories about baby factories, I'm thinking, babies for who? Why is nobody on the mainstream media saying, following up where these babies... I mean, we're stopping the baby factories. How about we stop the motherfuckers who are buying the babies first? How about we find those guys? First? Oh, thank you, Lisu. Lisu just sent a little heart on TikTok. But anyway, guys, I'm going to get some comments and I will go back to the... R2D2 is saying... R2D2 on TikTok is saying, I think it's non-human entities feeding off human energy, Draco reptilians. Melina may be onto it. Guys, look, I don't know. I'm not taking anything off the cards. I'm not taking anything off the table. It could be. But there's definitely, for me, the biggest story in all of this is, where are these babies going? Once you've got that baby, like this woman, what's her name? Le Devil or something. Who's she selling them? Where's the market for that? And then I start to think about this Pizzagate thing, and I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. Well, I remember a couple of years back, there was a big thing in America. There was like a big pizza chain. What was it called? I can't remember what the pizza chain was called. I can't remember what the pizza chain was called. But there was a pizza chain in America, and they had really weird pictures anyway. It came out that it was like a child sexual trafficking thing, and the story was so wild, guys. It was so wild Now it turns out, literally, we have that woman. What's her name? What's her name? Tulsi Gabbard. I think that's, yeah, Tulsi. Literally now, Tulsi Gabbard coming out. I'll just read you this, guys, okay? I'll read you. I know I keep saying I'm going to come onto the chat. I'll read you this. I'll play the video. Then I'll come onto the chat, okay? So, meet La Diabla, the baby trafficker. An insidious predator who lured pregnant women on the premise of fake care, performed illegal C-sections, then harvested their organs. Guys, this is what Tulsi Gabbard's saying, all right? I'm not saying this. This is not my speculation, analysis, and opinion. This is Tulsi Gabbard, and I think she's like, I think she's one of Trump's advisors or something. I know she's, I don't know her official title, but I know she's like, I think she's one of Donald Trump's security advisors. And she's saying that, you know, this insidious predator who lured pregnant women, saying she's going to give them fake care, performed illegal C-sections, and then harvested their organs and sold the newborn babies. Who are they selling them to? Who are they selling them to, guys? That's the real story here. Like, when you think about this thing, you know, it's like, you know, right, yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic thing that they're saving all these kids. You won't need to save those kids if you take down the people who are buying the kids. Guys, honestly, they're so dark. We'll play the video. It's only a short video, guys, and then I promise I'll jump and get the chat.
I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla.
How do you become a fucking baby trafficker? Honestly, guys, like, how do you become a baby trafficker? And look, these are not my words. This is Tulsi Gabbard, and she's on like a press conference here, and Donald Trump sat at the side of her. So I'm assuming it's pretty official. This is not, you know, this is not Alex Jones. You know, this is not Alex Jones. And they're stealing our babies, and they're taking our babies, and they're taking them for adrenochrome, and they're sucking the brains out of it. This is not Alex Jones, guys. This is literally Tulsi Gabbard. Oh, it said she's the director of national intelligence. So this woman, she's a baby trafficker. Honestly, guys, that I hope that I can guarantee that there is a special place in hell for her.
Money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission that you have presented to them.
I don't know, guys. I'm hot and cold. I'm hot. I just, honestly, this is a difficult thing to talk through, isn't it, guys? You know, it's really difficult. So you've got all this stuff happening right now. And you look at this and like, you're like, oh God, wow, that's wild. Oh God, yeah, that's wild. Like that statement there that she's just made, why is that not all over every mainstream media? Let's see what we've got in the UK. Let's see what we've got as breaking news in the UK. Let's just see what comes up. Breaking news. Met urges Epping migrant offender to hand himself in. Sorry, guys. We've got all this. And we've got the Met police who can't find. It's unbelievable. I bet they'd find you if you did a Facebook post. Met police urges migrant to hand himself in. Irish presidential election. US and China kick off trade talks. Rachel Reeves to raise 12 billion in budget. Disappointed Starmer firing line over historic by-election defeat. And Labour's new deputy leader. Do any of those stories, what I've just told you there, sound more important to human civilization than there's a market for fucking babies' body parts? Is that not like a dark path to go through, guys? that it's not even reaching the mainstream. And look, guys, that was a video by Tulsi Gabbard. So, you know, it's just crazy, guys. It's crazy. And like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, am I going mad right now? Is it me that's going mad? Oh, Priv Caro became a member. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Priv Caro, on YouTube. I really do appreciate all the members. Right, let me jump down and get these comments, guys. Let me jump down and get these comments. Lisa Jane is saying, Sean, it knocks me sick. It knocks me sick, guys, that this thing is real. Did you just hear what I'm look, guys, I'm still in disbelief. I'm in my head now, like I know a lot about cognitive dissonance. You get taught about cognitive dissonance when you're in the military. The reason you get taught about it in the military is because when, for example, you go into a room, you know, you go in to clear a room, you only have seconds to react to what's in that room. And there may be things in that room that your brain is not registering, you know, that your brain's not registering. So, and you're still going to have to react. So you can imagine going into a room, some crazy shit's happening, you know, guys with long things, guys with pointy things, maybe people laid on the floor, some look maybe like red wine spill all over them or whatever. You guys fill in the blanks. You've got to be able to understand what's happening and make the right decision, because you know what? Those legal companies, they're going to have as long as they want to dissect your tactical decision, and you're going to have less than a second to make that decision. So you've got to be well trained. You've got to know how your brain works. And right now, I can feel the different part of my brain. I can actually feel in my head now the different parts of my brain fighting. With what I've just been told, and I sucked all the information in, and I was like, Jesus Christ. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is a market for... That should be the biggest news, that there's an actual market for children's body parts. Go figure. I mean, I don't know. What are they doing with them? What do you do with it? I can't even, what do you do with it? Anyway, let's go rest these comments. Freddie on YouTube is saying, prison mistakenly released the migrant sex offender despite him returning 4 or 5 times to reception. Yeah, guys, I've watched this interview about this guy. It doesn't, like, you know, we're led to believe, aren't we? We're led to believe that, like, in our heads, this guy escaping or being let free, that it was just something, and he saw his opportunity. He was like, I'm gone. But he didn't. I watched an interview with a guy. Sorry, I talked about it, but then I jumped off. I watched an interview about a guy who was like a delivery driver. You guys might have seen it. He was a delivery driver, and he was there at that time. And he said that the guy, he must have been there for an hour and a half. Going back in, coming out, saying, I don't know where to go. And they're looking on his paperwork and they're saying, yeah, you've got no address. And I think, I might be wrong, guys, so I think speculatively for entertainment purposes only, allegedly, I think the man who was giving the interview said he was asking them where he gets deported or something. So I think that's what he was trying to say. So, you know, it's from absolutely phenomenal scenario we've got here. And I think we did the odds earlier on Grok, and it's 1 in 100,000 that this would actually happen. And also what I found out from Grok was, yeah, it was this morning. What we also found out from Grok was there is 800, was it 828 or something, 823? I think I can't remember, but 820 something. I think it was 828. 828 similar incidents last year in the United Kingdom prison system. So although it does seem like it's rare, you know, it's happened, you know, it does happen, you know, 828 times. Slim said that a member of prison staff told him that he had to get on a train and directed him to Chelmsford train station to catch a train to London, telling him, "You're released, you're released." Yeah, I mean, I do understand how this would happen. The guys at the prison, they wouldn't really care. Like, the guys at prison wouldn't care. Like, right, he's got them papers there. I don't know who this guy is. Just get him out. Yeah, it says release, so get him out. So it's, you know, I don't think it's the guys on the front gate. I don't think it's their fault. But equally, you know, how does this thing happen? I do not think that this is by mistake, guys. I think this is part of subversion. I think we're being heavily subverted, you know, and it's just absolutely crazy. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I didn't have the chat on. James on YouTube is saying, why is India and Pakistan or Russia and NATO or China or Taiwan all threatening nukes? Because it depends where Apophis hits in 2029. I think when they did the calculations, the most likely place for Apophis to hit was just off the coast of California. Silly Gallardi is saying, have you seen Hamas releasing prisoners having the best time in a 5-star hotel in Egypt among the tourists? No, I've not. I have, though, today seen scenes from London of people all waving these pro-Palestine flags, all with their faces covered, and they're all wearing black, and they just look intimidating, guys. You know, they look absolutely intimidating. And they look, you know, if you was to say, right, let's take, for example, the Unite the Kingdom March. Again, you know, I would argue what that actually achieved. But if you took a cross section of the people that went down there, you know, one of the main stipulations of that was nobody is to wear masks. And I think that is, honestly, guys, like, I do think that's the right way to go. You only wear a mask if you're afraid. You only wear a mask if you want to hide your face. You only hide your face if you're ashamed of what you're doing. So I do think it's the right, you know, I do think it's the right way to, you know, I do think it's the right thing not to wear a mask. Unless it's COVID, obviously, and then you've got to do hands, face, and space. But then all these guys, you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, they've all got hoods up and these black masks and, you know, black. They're just all wearing black. And I'm thinking, they look quite intimidating, you know. And then I think as well, I don't know if this was a scene from today, but they all got down on the streets and they were all doing the praying. That's what's coming, guys. That's what's coming to the United Kingdom. They're all going to be out on they're going to be people on the streets praying. They're all going to be saying, you know, chanting. Then they're going to get up and they're just going to go crackers. It's coming, guys. Don't worry. Donald Trump wants a meeting with Kim Jong-un when he visits Asia. I think Kim Jong-un, I think he's trying to get him. You see, if you isolate these people who are out on the fringes, if you isolate them, they won't do, you know, they become bad. If you bring them in, you talk to them and you give them something, they don't. I do think that is one of the reasons why Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October. Donna Jenkins is saying BA halts sponsorship of Louis Theroux after Bob Villan interview. I mean, I think, I think people should be allowed to interview whoever they want, really. You know, equally, I think people should be allowed to, you know, people should be allowed to sponsor whoever they want equally. So if people don't want to, you know, so yes, okay, you can say what you want, and you know, but also other people have the right to think, well, you know what, I don't like that, so thank you very much. And you know, so I think if the cat fits, wear it. John Giles is saying it was Muslims countering a UKIP march. Yeah, was that today in London, or was that yesterday? I'm just catching up on that. So I don't know if this is meant to be as funny as I think this is, but Silly on YouTube is saying black is slimming. So yeah, maybe all those guys waving the pro-Palestine flags, they all wanted a slimming color, and they're all, you know, they're all stood there, and they're like, right, guys, we're going to go up to this protest, but we all need to look our best. And I know, Mohammed, you've been on a little bit more of the falafel, haven't you? Yes, I love falafel. And, you know, so maybe we should all have something, you know, like a pinstripe. Has everybody got pinstripes? No pinstripe. Right, does everybody have black? We all have. Yes, black. And mask. Yes, and mask. You know. Templar Matt is saying, not necessarily, Sean. I thought the same about the masks, but with all this facial recognition, yeah, you know, Matt, so I've weighed both of these up. I have weighed both of these up, and I totally get the argument. So one of the arguments was with this Unite the Kingdom march. You know, all the people going down there, their faces are going to be on facial recognition at that place, at that location, at that time. They were channeled through a very a couple of very narrow streets, and it would have been very easy to get facial recognition cameras. You know, equally, you know, you've got to weigh these things up, and I still think that not wearing masks is the better way to go if you've got nothing to hide. Of course, you know, if you're going to be a criminal and you're going to do some criminal shit, you're going to put balaclava on, and you know, you're going to go and do your criminal shit. Speaking about masks, have you guys seen those high-end masks that like the CIA developed? Guys, I should do a podcast. I should do a talk about that on its own. Another push for digital ID for Starmer to, you know what, that's one of the first things we said. So we're talking here, guys. I'll jump back onto the stories in a minute, because it is wild, guys. Listen, something dark and weird is, not only is it happening, but something dark and weird is about to happen. Now, I don't know what that is, but just when we look at everything that's happening right now holistically, like each one of these things should be blasting mainstream media, and we've got. What have we got? We've got disappointed Starmer hitting the headlines. We've got Labour's new deputy leader says she needs to do something. We've got the Met Police asking very politely for the the sex offending migrant to hand himself in. Look, guys, with this migrant, this guy that's escaped, X82 on YouTube is saying it's going to be another push for digital ID. This is the first thing I thought, you know. For Starmer to push through with the manhunt seems sus, yeah. So he's going to say, well, if we all had digital ID, he wouldn't be able to travel, and we would be able to isolate him quickly. Yeah. Do you know what else would happen if we all had digital ID? You would be able to be turned off. You'd be able to be stopped. So, for example, if they didn't want people to go to a protest, guess what? Everybody's little digital ID, because they know what you're texting, who you're texting, what apps you've got, where you've been messaging. You know, they're going to know all that, so they're going to say, "Oh, right, Raven's going down there. He's like, you know, he's a weapon of mass destruction. We don't need him there, so we're gonna have to turn that off." You know, your app just will stop working. This happened in China. Guys. There was a planned anti-government protest in China. And I don't know if you guys know or not, but China's got all this technology already. There was a planned anti-government protest in China. It may have been Hong Kong, actually. I think it was China. I can't remember. Well, I guess China is Hong Kong. it was either China or I think it was China. And they all, they went down to this protest. When they got there, all their you have to scan your phone or something to get into the underground or something, and everything was just shut down. So the protest never went ahead, and all that took to stop that protest. So think how you need to police a protest now. You have to have the police, the riot vans, the horses, the water cannons. In the future, all they'll do is click some buttons on a laptop or a computer and then press return, and that's it. I like to think there'll be two people turning keys at the same time, though. I like to think that as well. And that's it then. Everybody's locked out and the protest's gone. Or all those people will get messages saying, if you don't leave this protest by 7 o'clock, all your universal basic income will be stopped for the next month. That will happen, guys. And then people just won't bother going down. And then the rebellion rises. Isn't it funny? Like, and look, guys, I'll be honest. I think I may have been on the side of the stormtroopers. If I was around in Star Wars time, I think I may have been one of the stormtroopers. I'm not going to lie. Those guys are pretty cool. In all the movies, it's always the rebels you're rooting for, apart from when it's in real life. Max PS4 Gaming is saying, yes, it was China. They could not live stream or anything. Yeah. So Max PS4 Gaming, did you guys notice that happened in the UK as well, or in Ireland? Sorry, did you guys notice that happened in Ireland when there was the protest outside? Guys, Jesus, did we just forget that a 10-year-old girl got raped? Did we just forget that? What is going on? What is going on, guys? Red Wolf, hello, Red Wolf. Red Wolf is saying Russia completed a nuclear test the other day. No, I don't think they did. I think Russia completed a test of a nuclear-powered drone. Let me just confirm this. The headlines were nuclear tests, so, but it is a little bit misleading. Vladimir Putin oversees a readiness test of Russia's nuclear forces. Right, okay, so it wasn't... Right, okay, so there's two things here. I know the Russians have got this, are developing, or they have got it, or it works, or it doesn't, a drone that has a nuclear, like a small nuclear reactor. Now, you can get a small nuclear... They're called an RT... Is it an RTG or an RTB? I can't remember. It's basically what they put in satellites. And it only gives a little bit of electricity, but you can run a propeller from that, and it gives you a lot, it gives you a huge range. But that's not what we're talking about. We're actually, guys, listen, when I give you guys this speculation, a lot of this stuff is off the top of my head. So sometimes I do get it slightly wrong. That's why I have to sometimes go on the internet and check things out. So Vladimir Putin oversees readiness test of nuclear forces. So it wasn't an actual nuclear test. It was a test of the nuclear forces, if that makes sense. So 22nd of October, Vladimir Putin oversaw a test of Russia's nuclear forces on land, sea and air to rehearse their readiness and combat command structure. The test included the launch of a land-based Yars intercontinental ballistic missile from a cosmodrome, the launch of a Sineva ballistic missile from a nuclear submarine. Guys, can you remember when, was it Grant Shapps? I think it was, I can't remember, the defense minister. He's on the submarine, Britain's nuclear submarine, and he's standing there, and they do the test of the nuclear missile. And they're all standing there, dead cool, and he just goes whoo into the water. And then they aired it. I do think that was some sort of I don't know why that made the media, guys. That, like, if that was me and I was in charge, I'd be like, right, you lot are not. That's not going. That is not going. We are not showing that on the TV. Anyway, so the Russians have managed to successfully launch their nuclear submarine from the Barents Sea, which is obviously near Alaska, and the launch of nuclear-capable cruise missiles from strategic bombers. Now, I think that last bit is a bit of a non-story, because they've been launching the Iskander missiles for quite a while into Ukraine, and those Iskander missiles can be nuclear armed. So, but yeah, that is a thing. Look, guys, if you guys want to know, and I did actually, if anybody was on the live stream like this afternoon when we were talking about 3i Atlas, I did go quite in depth about why I don't think a nuclear weapon is going to be, will ever be used again. Right, listen, guys, let me jump back. Jared is saying, probably done by Putin to show his power to NATO also. Loves any little mind game he can try. Right, guys, I'm going to jump back to this. We're going to jump back. Wild stuff being happening. Lots and lots of stuff in the media. I don't know if I don't know it's because I've been clicking on it on my feed. I'm getting showed more. But right, let's go to the next. We've done Melania. So Melania Trump, when she moves into the White House, she had it like, what did she have it done? She had it cleaned, scrubbed clean for demons. I don't know where you buy that from. I think I saw something in B&M selling some demon scrub. Maybe that was a Halloween thing. I don't know. Right. This is an article from 2011. All right. This is an article from 2011. Mystery of the West Wing hole. What is Obama building under the White House? So in 2011, Obama was building something, as per this article in the Daily Mail. So this is an article from the 18th of October, 2011, guys, all right? So Obama was doing some shit underneath the West Wing of the White House. Now, Donald Trump, he's ripped it all down now. He's ripped it all down. Guys, there's something happening here behind the scenes that we don't know. I promise you, there's something happening behind the scenes. My spider sense is going whoop, 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 whoop right now, guys. It really is. It's off the charts, my spider sense. Right, I'm going to play a short video here, guys. It's 40 seconds long. This is to do with finding children again. So, again, there's a child recovery. There's a multi-agency child recovery operation going on in the United States. Now, this is the headline. 10 endangered missing children located safely. Now, that to me is saying those children are in the same place. So again, you know, my brain works real quick. Straight away, I'm thinking, right, okay, so who put them there? So how did they get from place A to place B? What, did they all just get lost and they go, oh, let's go to this house. Oh, don't eat the candy. You know, what is it like fucking? And then he brings you back to that nursery rhyme. You know, Jesus Christ, Hansel and Gretel. We've literally got Hansel and Gretel, guys. You know these whole fake folklore stuff? Hansel and Gretel, the witch who lives in the woods, who eats the children. Is Hansel and Gretel a real story? I think that's a good. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I think it's a 2012 movie with is it Ryan Renner or something? It's a good movie. Anyway, let short video, guys.
It's multi-agency child recovery operation called Shine the Light. 10 children between the ages of 13 and 18 were found, and authorities also made several arrests of adults. The operation was conducted over the weekend with the help of HPD, the FBI, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service, the military, and others. It's aimed at finding missing children listed as runaways across Oahu and providing them with essential services and care.
Do proactively run these operations to protect our children, whether it's the
So we're all here, guys. Look, you know, I am, you know, I've got friends who I consider family who live in Ukraine, you know, and I'm like, you know, I spent a lot more time than most in Ukraine, and I know that country, I know the people, I know the problems that they have. I know that more than most. We sent last year, I think this year maybe, but yeah, it's this year. This year we're sending 4.5 billion to Ukraine. I would like to think that we have our shit in order in this country before we start sending that money to other countries. I really would think that would be the case. But, you know, it seems like that's not the case. And it does seem like, my perception is that it looks like Donald Trump is sorting this out. Right, what else have we got? Right, we've done Tulsi Gabbard. I'll come back onto Tulsi Gabbard, guys, because for me, that little 40-second speech that she gave about this woman, La Diabla, why is that not all over every mainstream media outlet now? That just telling people that, yes, listen, do you know what? There actually is a market for children's organs. Not even children, like babies. Some fucked up shit, guys. Some fucked up shit. Right, this is another video you guys want to listen to as well. So this is another video. Look, guys, I don't know how much credibility you want to take of this video. This is I'm just going to let this video play. I can't find the source for this video, but this video is saying that when they finish with these children, that meat. I'll let you listen to it, guys.
Body is body parts. It's not just about sex trafficking. It's that when the sex trafficked children and people are used up, they're converted to body parts and sold on the black market to black transplantologists. And I hate to say this. This is really.
Did you hear what she said then? Let's just go back, guys. This is, I promise you, this is dark. This is really dark.
Sex trafficking. It's that when the sex trafficked children and people are used up, they're converted to body parts and sold on the black market.
So what she's saying there is when the sex trafficked children are used up, I mean, just that thing in its own, guys, that's horrible. What she's saying then is they're converted into body parts and sold on the black market to black transplantologists. Like, I didn't even know this thing existed.
To black transplantologists. And I hate to say this. This is really, really distressing to me to say this, but I honestly think every major food manufacturer.
And TikTok's just kicked me off, guys. TikTok has just kicked me off. It's just kicked me off. TikTok has just kicked me off. Doesn't it always kick me off at very peculiar points, guys? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if I click off TikTok, I'm triple streaming. We're on YouTube, we're on X, and we're on TikTok, guys. Okay, so if I click off, go over to YouTube, guys, because YouTube seems to be a lot more forgiving. So let's go back to that video, guys. What she's saying there is there's you know, after these kids or whatever are again like done, that meat they're taking the meat and people and they're getting that into the food supply. That's what she's saying, this woman, guys. All right, not me. This is a video. Let's play this again.
This is really, really distressing to me to say this, but I honestly think every major food manufacturing, meat manufacturing processing plant ought to be tested for human meat.
Right. Just on its own, guys, that should send your stomach, right? That should send your stomach, okay? What she's saying there is, and I think this is a good thing, like 100%, every food outlet should be tested for why is that not already happening? Like, why is there not a health and safety man going in there saying, right, show me those pork sausages, right, chop it up, yeah, you've got 4% human meat in here, what you been doing? Oh, come on, who's been throwing people in the meat grinder? Put your hand up. Yeah, it was me. Right, all right, mother-in-law. That's a joke, guys. I'm not saying anyone should throw their mother-in-law in a meat grinder. You know, and there's so much information that you can get from the information that's not available. So let's continue, guys. So she's saying here, this woman, should, you know, every major food outlet should be every major food outlet should be tested for human meat. Now, say that to yourselves, guys. Just say that to yourselves. It's wild.
The concentration of human meat. I think they have a way of doing that, and they claim they do because they shut down a couple of McDonald's. And we've heard
they've already shut down some McDonald's. That's what this woman's saying. So she's saying they've already closed down some McDonald's for finding human. Let me Google this. I need to Google this, guys. Let me fact check myself. Real quick. Okay, right. So this, okay, right. So this, okay, right. So what, okay. So what she, okay, right. So I've got an article here from 2012, and it says false claims of human meat in factories stem from an old hoax that first appeared on a satirical show. Again, this, so I don't know, guys. I'm just giving you guys this video. Listen, I told when we started watching this video, guys, I told you I couldn't find the source code for this the source of this video. So let's get to the end of this video, guys, and we'll see what we think about it.
People, remember Rabbi Finkelstein in New York? He was bragging about this. He was talking about
right, Rabbi Finkelstein. Let me find Rabbi Finkelstein. That can't be a real name. That can't be a real name. No, it is a real name. Rabbi Finkelstein. Right, so there's a real person called Rabbi Finkelstein. Let's see what else she says.
You know, not letting it go to waste, putting it in the feed, and nobody believed him. But then later, this whole thing McDonald's came out.
Right. So yeah, she may. Yeah, this may be satire.
And Ukraine is the center of it.
No, it can't be. Well, who knows, guys? Look, there's a lot of stuff on the, there's a lot of stuff on the internet, and you've got, you really do have to dig into this and see where it is. But there's also like some of the stuff you find, there is kernels of truth in this. When you find those kernels of truth, you need to exploit them. Do you know what I can guarantee isn't bullshit? 100%. I mean, do you know what, guys? I don't even know. Maybe it is BS. But Tulsi Gabbard, the director of the National Intelligence Agency in the United States, came out and she said they finally found a lady called La Diabla. So Diablo is devil. So I'm thinking that's like the female version, like the woman devil, the woman devil. Yeah, I mean, she definitely is the woman devil. She's a baby trafficker. The insidious predator who lured pregnant women on the premise of giving them care, performed illegal C-sections, then harvested their organs and sold their newborn babies. So now this woman, she's been arrested. But don't take it from me, guys. The next voice you're going to hear is Tulsi Gabbard, and she is the director of national intelligence. When she's giving this speech, she is literally sat at the side of Donald Trump. So whether you think this is fake news, and a lot of this stuff, like a good way to discredit someone is if I come out with a breaking news story and it's real and somebody wants to discredit it, what somebody else can do is do another story the same as mine, but have it fake and then let people debunk that one. So then when people are doing the Google searches, Raven story about aliens and a magical castle. Oh yeah, look, this other guy, yeah, he did, yeah, it's debunked, yeah, it's fake. A good way of doing it is doing a similar story and then getting that story debunked. So let's just, but look, guys, you don't get any higher up than this. She's literally sat next to Donald Trump when she's talking about this. So let's just go with it.
I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government shutdown, our folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission that you have presented to them.
So there you have it, guys. And for me, like I said previously, the biggest story about this is that there's a market for newborn. Like, what are you going to do with a newborn baby? Like, do you know what? Yeah, I need some new wheels on the. Yeah, tires are going thin on the car. All right. Well, I'm skint this weekend. I've just bought a baby's heart. What? Oh, yeah, it's a real. What do you do with that? You know, like, what do you do with that? Who's buying these things? That's the real story for me. Follow that shit back. You start to think about human sacrifice, and you start to think about the ancient Incans. The ancient Incans do it. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Linda Lou is saying Epstein Island. Right. I'm going to go on. I'm going to do Epstein for a minute here, guys. All right. I'm not going to do Epstein. Right. I went down a bit of a. Do any of you guys follow? He's got a YouTube channel. I think he's called Jesse Richards. Or Jesse Michaels. Jesse Michaels. Sorry, not Richards. Jesse Michaels. I was watching a Jesse Michaels video earlier on. And he was saying how, look, guys, for those of you guys who follow me a while, you guys know I'm a bit of a science geek. And I think one of the smartest men in the world right now is Eric Weinstein. Like, he's got a new theory of geometric unity. And what I personally think that is, it's something that I've been trying to teach my daughter it. I don't know if it's a thing. We were just talking about it. And guys, you bear with me. And I was talking about how I don't think we should do maths 2D. I think we should be doing 3D maths. So we do maths linear 2. It might even be 1D maths. It actually is 1D maths. I want to skip 2D maths and I want to go straight to 3D maths. So we were talking about could you do maths, but cyclical maths. Anyway, so I do understand that, this guy, Eric Weinstein, he's like one of the smartest guys. If you ever heard him talk, he's just like, I would love to talk to him and just like talk about everything really. Anyway, so Epstein, he was really into Eric Weinstein's work and he was trying to find out as much about him as he could. And, Epstein did have a lot of scientists on board. He was funding a lot of scientific research. So I think that story, it stopped. But I think there's a lot more to that story, guys. I do. There was a book released as well. So there was a book released by Epstein's. So Jeffrey Epstein went to work on right, guys, I may be getting some of these slightly wrong. Jeffrey Epstein he used to be a teacher, and the school he worked at, the head teacher of that school wrote a book about I think something about like alternate dimensional aliens, and they bring sex slaves in and blackmail other people with sex slaves. That's the book that he wrote. So anyway, if you guys want to put any of that together, it's up to you. But yeah, Epstein Island. I think there's a lot more going on in Epstein Island, guys, that we just cannot even comprehend. There's a lot of stuff that's going on that we can't comprehend because those. Yeah, Snowball is saying Snowball. It's Snowball. Do we have somebody called Snowdrops as well? Snowball is saying, Sean, look up Charlene Downs. Guys, that case is absolutely horrific. There's that is probably it's horrific. Yeah. Yeah, Snowball. I know who Charlene Downs is. It's a horrific story, guys. It's a horrific story. Google it is saying share our nuclear weapons with Germany. Says British military chiefs. Doesn't matter. We're never going to be able to use them anyway. So it's not going to happen. The dog father is saying, how far does the rabbit hole go? So so the next question you go down, and I've not mentioned this today, but seeing as a dog father on guys, listen, I am going to close this down in a couple of 30 seconds on TikTok, and then I'm going to jump over to YouTube, and I'll continue the live stream on YouTube. If you've not followed me on YouTube, guys, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I will be jumping over. So we've just heard there from, Tulsi Gabbard that they found this woman who is a human trafficker. She's a baby trafficker. For me, where this goes in your head, you follow it up. So you follow it up and you're like, right, okay. So who are they selling them to? Right, okay. Why are they buying them? Now, if you want to go down that, guys, you will go down a route that will take you to black magic. It will take you to Haitian voodoo. It will take you to human sacrifice. It will take you to alternate dimension serpent gods. That's where it takes you, guys. And I don't want to go full Alex Jones. I don't. But I feel like I'm going full Alex Jones with better hair. Right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys on TikTok, actually, I'm going to be closing you guys on TikTok, closing you guys down on TikTok. I will then be jumping over to YouTube. We'll continue this live stream on YouTube, and then that's it, guys. We will be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'm not even going to appeal that anymore. I can't turn it off. For some reason, I can't turn it off. We might just be staying on here. Right. The screen's frozen. Right, that's awkward. It's never done this before. Right, guys, listen. Like I said, I'm Real Raven 1 on YouTube if you've not done so already. If the screen stays on or if it just goes off, I don't know. But we've stopped. Right, we have stopped. We are just streaming on YouTube now, guys. YouTube and X. Welcome, everyone. We're in a dark world. We are in a dark world, guys. We're in a dark world. Right, I'm going to jump to the bottom. Oh, X82, he's saying hello, Louise, and I'm saying hello, Louise, as well. Max's PS4 gaming. He's saying I was watching the China show the other day. They was talking about meat and Chinese find. Oh my God. Are we on the Snowpiercer? Are we on the Snowpiercer, guys? Proof Carroll is saying Norwegian politicians admit that the reason they support our Prime Minister in giving Ukraine so much money is because it's just a small part of what we earn back from the Ukraine war. Yeah, so this has happened in the United Kingdom as well. A lot of this, we're in a war economy. A lot of what happens is, okay, the Ukrainians want X. I don't know, the mind bullet or whatever. The Ukrainians say, right, we want this. Then the British say, we'll give you that. And then the British find money that's built in Britain in a British factory, and then it's shipped out to the Ukrainians. And what really astounds me is how Orwellian this all is. Nobody's trying to stop the war, guys. I promise you, Britain's not trying to stop the war. They're just trying to make it, you know, generate as much cash flow as possible. You know, there was a US president, I think it was Reagan. And it might not be. I think it was Reagan. It doesn't matter who. No, it wasn't Reagan actually. I think it was Jimmy. It was Jimmy Carter. It was Jimmy Carter. I should definitely. You know, I think I qualify as an American at some point. I do a fantastic barbecue, guys. I do a fantastic T-bone. And if there's any Americans out there and you want a T-bone with me, I'll go T-bone tea. I'll go T-bone tea with you guys. I think it was Jimmy Carter. So what he said was, when you make wars profitable, you're going to keep having wars. I will develop that. And I will say, when you make prolonged wars profitable, you will have more wars. If you made winning the war profitable, the wars would be over real quick. We're still going to have wars, guys. We're humans. We've got eyes in the front of our heads. You know, we're predators. But if you made winning the war profitable, rather than prolonging the war and building as much stuff and providing as much military aid and assistance and money to this factory and money to that factory and, you know, money for these drones and money for that ammunition and building that, because that's what's happening right now. Nobody's planning, nobody's spending money to win the war. They're spending money to prop up their economies. Leanne Gethin is saying, military-industrial complex, big bucks for black budget projects. Yeah. So what we talk about here, black budget projects. So like a good example of a black budget project would be the SR-71. You know, I mean, the engineering that went into the SR-71, guys, it's phenomenal. Like, the CIA had to make shell companies in Australia to buy the titanium from Russia because the Russians wouldn't sell it to Americans. So these shell companies in Australia had to buy all this titanium off the Russians. They then shipped it to Australia, and then the Americans then shipped it to... So the SR-71 was built to spy on Russia. It was built with Russian steel, Russian titanium. Galloway Raider is saying, the only US president that ever fixed more than they broke was and is Donald J. Trump. Some phenomenal things are coming out, guys, really. Listen, guys, quick question. Put yes or no in the chat. Put yes or no in the chat, guys. Have you been onto Google Maps, found the White House in America? I think it's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And like, if you zoom out or zoom in, depending on your aspect ratio, you will literally see with the roads a perfect pentagram. Perfect pentagram in Washington, D.C. There's no denying it, guys. Zero denial about that fact. At the bottom of that pentagram, that's where the White House is. And now Donald Trump's doing renovations. I don't know what's happening, guys. There's some sort of crazy shit happening. There's some crazy shit happening around the world, guys. There really is. In fact, let me try and find this. I'll share the article with you. See, I'm not. As soon as I put the West Wing up, I get all the stuff here. Let me try and find this article on here. I don't know. Right, I'll do it. Give me a second, guys. I'll do it. I'll do it perfect. Nope, that's not. And then you've got that TV show, haven't you? The West Wing. No, it's not coming up. That's weird. Ah, here we are, guys. Got it. Right, so this is a different article. I'll share this with you in a second, guys. Let me get rid of the ads. Oh, God, right, I can't share this. The ads have gone crackers, guys. There's just ads all over. So this is an article from Business Insider, published 28th of November, 2011. What is Obama building a bunker under the White House lawn? For over 2 years, crews have torn up the north lawn of the White House just outside the West Wing for what the General Service Administration calls utility upgrades. 2 years for utility upgrades. And the thing about building down, and it may just be a bunker, guys. It may just be a bunker. It really may be a bunker, and they need to make it a nuclear bunker. Or I don't know. That may be the case. But the thing about when you dig down, you only need a little hole, because you don't do a full excavation. You dig, and you get your tractors, your JCBs, your dump trucks. You get them in, and then all the work's done underground. And let's not forget, Elon Musk's got that, the Boring Company. So I would speculate that they have some real deep underground structures underneath the White House. I would say it's massive. Sean McKay is saying Trump just seems to be uncovering all the corruption in so many countries. He's going into it all ruthlessly. Guys, listen, I don't know what's happening. Right now I'm just looking at what's happening here, because there is absolute chaos in the streets in the United Kingdom. Absolute chaos beyond the chaos in chaos. Healing Sounds is saying, anyone saw the KFC advert? Oh, I could do a KFC. Anyone saw the maybe I don't know if I'm going to read this now. Anyone seen the KFC advert where a man got dipped in gravy and a chicken drumstick came out? I've not seen that, Healing Sounds, but Healing Sounds, right? Your serious question. I've got tinnitus in my ears, right? This ear goes, and this ear goes, ooh. Not that loud, obviously, but like when it's dark and I'm in bed, that's all I can hear. Is there, can Healing Sounds heal my tinnitus? I've heard that it can. I don't know if it can. Just as I don't know. I don't know if that can, if that is a thing, Healing Sounds. Oh, Louise Gaffin is saying, then the Denver airport. Yeah, so there's a big conspiracy as well about the and I don't look, guys. I don't know I don't know what's real. Sometimes how I was watching something today. It was a woman, and she had a cake, a cake, but it was like one of those realistic cakes, and it looked like a cat. And she's cutting this cake that's looks like a cat. And her cat was there watching. And as soon as she put the knife in, the cat went, "Rawr!" I did not know that was AI. I did not know that was AI. 100%. I didn't know. I was like, yeah, that's real. So, when I'm saying I don't know what's real, I genuinely don't know what's real anymore. Like, all the stuff we're watching now could be AI. And I think this time next year, promise you guys, this time next year, we are going to have situations where there's going to be things happen and people are going to claim it's AI. You know, the government will say, oh, this is AI. We're going to have things happen that have not happened. So we're going to have things that, you know, AI doing, like, imagine if there was an, I don't know, a complicated terror attack. And it never happened. It was just AI. It was just all artificial intelligence generated. How would you know? Like, literally, how would you know? I've said this quite a few times. Imagine if all the news came on now and they said aliens are landing in Scotland and they're making their way down. I mean, it might stop the boats. You know, aliens have landed on the northern tip of Scotland, or what's it called, John O'Groats, and they're making their way down, and they're using their ray guns and they're decimating everyone. And then they show some AI imagery. How do you know like that? It doesn't matter whether it's real or not. It's real. They're telling, you know, it's not the perception of, you know, it's not what's actually happening. It's the perception of what's happening. Oh, hang on a minute. We had some breaking news there. Starmer's workers' rights bill will cripple the jobs market. Yeah. So the jobs market is there to be crippled, guys. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's the plan. All right. In my opinion, that is the plan. The plan is to cripple the jobs market. We've already seen this. You know, you can see this in real time yourselves. Jobs market's crippled, more people unemployed, more people, and then they come up with a bright idea: universal basic income. Great idea, but only for those people who've got digital ID. Watch people get digital ID. And then that's it, guys. You are literally a slave. Forget free will. Greg Barron is saying my right heel feels like an old Spectrum ZX loading at nights. Yeah. I've got a very particular type of tinnitus. It's called gunfire deafness. So I like high pitched noises that I can't hear them. So if somebody talks to me, not all the time, but it just sounds like I'm like, what? It's very disconcerting. Bet you hate the slices in Greg's. It multiplies in a quiet environment. I don't go to Greg's that often. Yeah, I think we're talking about artificial intelligence there. Like realize. Maybe not for now. Yeah. AI, guys, I promise you, that is going to change absolutely everything. Nobody's going to know what's real and what's not real. We will literally be watching things and think, is that AI? I mean, we have to, like, I think AIs now, they have to put a stamp on the bottom corner or something, like to say, like a watermark saying this is AI. But listen, guys, do you think that somewhere in the government or somewhere in the tech world, they can remove that watermark? I think they probably could. Max PS4 Gaming is saying there's a video on BitChute of a guy who is an expert in AI, and he pointed out the October the 7th attacks was AI and the anomalies. Okay. Well, look, I don't know about any of that. It would be difficult to, I think, you know, certain things it would be difficult to fake with AI. Some like big things like that, I think that, like, because over time, people, I think, would find that out. You know, I mean, there's clearly dead bodies. They were clearly hostages took. You know, clearly, you know, things have happened. You know, but a short incident, maybe somebody gets shot in a petrol station. There's 4 real witnesses. Well, maybe no real witnesses, but they just employ 4 actors. You're never going to know. Imagine that now. I don't know. Who do you think of? Politician X, all right, whatever. Politician X. And hits the news. Politician X has been assassinated in a garage. Here's the footage. And there's some like CCTV footage, which is never the best quality. You know, it's never like 4K. You know, there's some grainy CCTV footage or whatever, you know, of that politician. He gets out of his car, he walks in, puts his petrol in whatever, I don't know, bag of crisps. Or a little sausage, I don't know. And somebody walks up behind him, you know, and the assassination's done. Like, that could be easily done with AI. Then they've got some patsy, or maybe even just some actor, maybe even an actor. It's not even a real person. It's AI talking. The whole thing is AI. Sean McKay is saying AI wife in the bed that doesn't scream at you for snoring. So here's another one of the things that I went down, a little rabbit hole I went down. You know, I think of things really quickly and it goes off in my head, like where do these things evolve? Like, I knew AI was coming as soon as I saw. Can you guys remember that Pokemon Go game where you had to like use your camera and find the Pokemon? As soon as I saw that game, I was like, yeah, this is coming now. There's no stopping it. There's absolutely no. And I know that's not AI, that's augmented reality, but they're going to merge all of this stuff together. So let's just see where this goes then, right? Okay, so now you're going to have these dolls, you know, these doll bots. You guys know the ones I'm talking about, you know, the hyper realistic dolls that you can buy. You're going to give them an AI. And then we've literally got, what's that movie? What's that movie where there's that, it's got that, is it Ryan Reynolds? He took over he's got Harrison, I love the movie. It's total cyberpunk. Blade Runner 2049. You've literally got that scenario then. People will form relationships with these AIs. I mean, I always say thank you and please to Grok. So people are going to form relationships with these AIs. 100% that's going to happen. They're going to be on like a birthing bot or whatever, or like a sex bot. And then that's it. Birth rate, you think it's falling now, it'll just go to 0. Boom, 0. James is saying, I think you're right. Europe will be going to war with Russia early 2026. Andrew is saying, thought you would be interested in the story of the old parrot in Chesterfield who has been refused a birthday cake card from the king because he was born in Ireland when we gave so much to the foreigners. I've not heard of that. Yeah, I mean, that it's going through just when we talk about Paras and Northern Ireland, you can't help but mention the Bloody Sunday farce of a trial that's being dragged through the courts right now. I think it was Soldier F recently that's just been acquitted of all charges. Like, that wasn't going to happen, you know. And a lot of the, when you join the military, you don't expect much back. You don't really do it for money. You don't do it for money. Absolutely not. The pay is terrible. Just a little bit of respect, you know. The Americans, American veterans get a lot of respect, you know. I mean, you know, the standing joke is the American military get thank you for your service. The British military get fuck you for your service. You know, like in America, there's lots of like there's lots for the veteran community, because when you leave the military, like my skill set like my skill set with medium and heavy machine guns and explosives and the medical training I've got, kind of not relatable. You can't use those skills. They're not transferable skills. So a lot of veterans, when they come out, they have all these skills, but they're not transferable. You know, they're absolutely not transferable. Slim is saying the original Blade Runner is better. Yeah, the original Blade, right. Is Harrison Ford a replicant or not? Is he a replicant or not? Greg Brown is saying Ukraine, Russia is peanuts. I don't know what that means. Oh, sorry, Greg Barron. Sorry, not Greg Brown. Greg Barron, what does that mean? Ukraine, Russia is peanuts. Ukraine is Russia's peanuts. Is that what you meant? I don't know. Okay, can you explain a bit more to that? All right, sorry, I missed your first comment. Right, so Greg is saying, I'm more worried about China taking back Taiwan as they're poised for it. Yes, right, sorry. Yeah, read all the comments first, John. Ukraine, Russia is peanuts, yeah. So what I think is going to happen, we are going to get these two conflicts, the United States and the Middle East, Britain leading this coalition of the willing in Ukraine, and then I think there's going to be another China's going to kick off, then we're going to have to go to China, and then the Falklands. It's all going to kick off, guys. I promise you, it's all going to kick off. People are just waiting for this first chip to fall. It's like dominoes. You can see all these dominoes lined up. You know, you're like, right, when's this first one going to go? Because once they start going, they're all going to go real quick. I mean, look how quickly we almost had like a battle, like a full-scale war between India and Pakistan, like a couple of months ago, whatever it was. And Templar Matt is saying, the only technology I have is my phone and a table for my tablet. Sorry, I think I mean for my little ones. I hate where technology is going, and I try to keep it at a minimum. I agree with you, mate. I agree with you. You see, Galloway Raider is saying, I also like Starmer will throw the Falklands under the bus during a major Labour scandal. Mark my words. I don't think he can throw the Falklands under the bus, guys. I don't think there's too much money. There's too much at stake with the Falklands. Absolutely, there's too much at stake. Bushwork Solution is saying, you know, when you're waiting for a vicar to pay you for work you've done in their building 3 weeks ago, things are bad. Yeah, I mean, look, talking about financially, things are bad everywhere, guys. You know, literally, it's very difficult right now. Everyone's struggling. And Freddie's saying, Pakistan Defence Minister warns of open war with Afghanistan if peace talks fail. So first of all, it won't really be a war, Pakistan versus, you know, actually. Oh, look, guys, I've done a lot of training, and I can say this on here, but I said this on YouTube, TikTok, and I got banned. I got banned for saying this on YouTube, TikTok, sorry. So I've done a lot of training with the Afghan military. I have. I'm like more than most people, especially people who are deployed to Afghanistan. I've done a lot of training with the Afghans. And in my opinion, and everybody's opinion who I've ever met, they are the almost impossible to train, almost impossible to work with, very difficult to give them simple orders like get down on your belt buckle. You would think that, right, this is how you get down on your belt buckle, showing someone how to get down on the belt buckle, right? Right, you do it. They're going down on one knee, they're doing this, they're all sorts of crazy stuff. You're like, right, okay, mate, how do we do this? Right, I don't know. Right, what we'll do is we'll get them all and we'll all physically put them all on their belt buckles, right? Yeah, you got that? Yeah, that is prone position. That's when we say prone, that's the position you get into. You got it? Yeah, prone. Exactly the same. People doing this. And you're like, right, okay, Sean, stop. It's very difficult to train these people. So, you know, when we talk about a war, you see these big mountain men, yes, I am strong. That's not the reality I'm getting. Brushwork Solutions is saying it's the way he's been passing off it off. All right, okay, sorry. The way he's been passing it off away on holiday with his wife, despite having the money to pay the bills before he left. Anyway, that's my gripe for this evening. I made a listen now. Well, Brushworks, if the it's very difficult, isn't it? You know, I suppose if you're trying to get money from a vicar, he's got that like, oh, you should be working for free. You know, you've got that, oh, you should be working for free thing. I bet if you went to get married there, he'd want the money off you straight away. Healing Sounds is saying where food is only liquid from you just drink or inject, and that's it. What? I think I may have missed you. Right, I think I may have missed your previous comment, Healing Sounds. Freddie is saying, Trump says he will not meet with Putin until he thinks there's a deal on Ukraine. Does that not sound like something I told you guys like a year ago? Does that not sound like exactly what I said a year ago? Everybody was saying, oh, Donald Trump's going to be a peace president. He's going to do all this. He's going to do all that. I was like, not a chance. Not a chance. Not in a bazillion years is that going to happen. Not a chance. He may want to do that, and I believe he does want to do that. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, guys. You know, I've always said Vladimir Putin, because I understand the culture. I understand how these things work in that part of the world. And they'll just say yes. They'll come. They'll have these meetings. The meetings will be great. Yes, of course, we will have peace negotiation, and I will speak to deputy minister. And I don't have those information now, but I will find information, and we will negotiate for very fluent peace talks, of course. And nothing will happen. I've operated out there for quite a while. I understand. Right, guys, the time's cracking on. Listen, guys, I'm going to go through. What we've been talking about today, guys. Some wild stuff, like something dark and weird is on its way. I don't know what it is, but let's take a step back. I went down this rabbit hole today of children being found, children's body parts being sold. Like, this should be mainstream. This should be headlining everywhere, guys. Like this should So my next question is, why isn't it headlining? Who's buying these children's body parts? I've never bought one. And what are they doing with them when they get them? Are they putting them in a cabinet? Some wild stuff happening, guys. We've got 3i Atlas that's doing some strange things. Now, I get it. You know, the jury's out. There's a lot of people saying it's not doing strange things. I think there's a lot of clickbait on that as well. What I said always about 3i Atlas, and I said it a long time ago, I said, if it is aliens, it will slow down before it gets to the sun. That's a good thing because we know they're operating on known physics. Now, from the article I did earlier on, it does look like that it's starting to slow down. That's what it says. That's what the article's saying. Guys, look, I don't have a telescope big enough to see 3i Atlas. I wouldn't even know where to look anyway. So I'm giving you guys the information that I'm getting online, whether that's, and again, 3i Atlas could be AI, guys. You know, it could be AI. We don't know. Crazy stuff happening. Oh, yeah, the clocks go back tomorrow. Tonight. Is it tonight or tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. Is it tonight? Do the clocks go back tonight or tomorrow? I think it's tonight. Yeah, the clocks go back tonight. Hang on, there's quite a few. Red Wolf, I like Red Wolf. Red Wolf feeling is that Christmas or around the beginning of next year will be World Wars and The Last of Us. Are you ready, Red Wolf? Listen, Red Wolf, I'll let you into a little secret while you're there. When I was in the military, I had a burner phone, and I used to call myself Red Fox on the burner phone. And we used to phone people up, so we'd like phone the CO up, like the commanding officer, and we would say weird stuff in a Russian accent to him. And he'd be like, who is this? Who is this? And I would go, this Red Fox. I know you. And we'd hang up. Honestly, so I when I see Red Wolf, I think maybe Red Fox and Red Wolf were maybe friends before. Right, guys, listen, I am going to have to close this down now because you guys have been fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hang on. Yeah, look, guys. There's something definitely going crazy, you know, with these, something definitely going crazy with this, guys, with these children. Where are these children going? Like, you know, where are they going? Where do they go? Where do they go to? Why are they never found again? You know, we went down some rabbit holes today, guys. We went down the, you know, I guess when Tulsi Gabbard is saying something, sat next to Donald Trump, it doesn't get more official than that, does it? Now, whether you choose to believe that or not, that's a different story. But as far as officialness goes, you don't get any more official than that, guys. Like, that is like straight from the, that is like from the leader of the, well, it's like maybe a couple of levels down from the leader of the free world, the most powerful man in the world. And he sat right there nodding his head. So you've got to take that as gospel. You've got to take that as credible. You've got to take it as credible. You can't not take that as credible. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. We've been on for a while. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, of course, at 10. I'll give you guys an update on what's been happening. We'll give you guys an update on the what's his name, Hadash, the asylum seeker that's ran, and he's gone and he's on the run. I think it's fake, guys. I think he's fake to bring in digital ID. I think he's going to bring in all sorts of crazy stuff. But listen, guys, I'm going to be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'll see you guys later.